You're listening to Quorum Radio.
In retrospect now, looking at it, did you feel bad that you were not more suspicious of the package that Lee Oswald put in the backseat of your car?
No, because I explain it in this way. If you work with someone and they never lie to you about anything, well, you're not looking for anything.
Sure.
You're not looking. Someone tells you something, you're not, well, I got to check this out. Well, I was just some people might say I was just a young, naive kid. I don't know. I just trusted everybody because the way I was taught and raised was that you believe someone until they prove to you that you can't.
Sure.
You take for what they say is the truth and just let it go. And
sure.
It was just a very, time in my life that I'll never forget.
Sure. So then, do you think that Lee Harvey Oswald was 100% framed? I mean, you think?
Say that again, please.
Do you think that Lee Harvey Oswald was framed 100% and didn't commit the crime, or what's your view on whether Lee Harvey Oswald pulled the triggers on those shots?
Well, if you go back and look at some of the footage that the first day after Lee was captured and taken to the Dallas Police headquarters, the same place I was, what little he got to talk to employees, you go back to that interview or that footage and he'll tell you, he says, I'm a patsy. Well, I have believed that there was a conspiracy there, and
sure,
I don't know what involvement, who was, or how much, but I firmly believe that, and I always have believed that there was a conspiracy. No one person could do that by themselves.
Right, and given the fact that there were no curtain raids. Go ahead, Buell.
And the thing is, like I said, I believe there's a conspiracy simply because, as I said previously, no one person can do that by themselves. To what extent or if Lee was involved in that, I don't know, because he never gave me the impression that he could do something like that, because he come across as such a kind person. And the children in the neighborhood on Friday loved Friday because it was the last day of school, and they knew that Mr. Lee would be coming out to Irving. And all the kids in the neighborhood played with him around that big oak tree out in front of Miss Payne's home. And by the way, that big oak tree still stands there today. And I say to myself sometimes, if that oak tree could talk, what stories it could probably tell you.
Oh my gosh!
But my little nieces just loved him, and they talked about him, and all they ever had to say about him, how kind and good a person he was. And so,
wow. Yeah. So how did they? But just curious about that, Buell. That's very interesting that you bring that up. So did he come over to the house a couple of times, or were they playing out in the neighborhood with him, or did he come by and talk to them, or how do they have contact with Lee?
Well, they would go down the street to Miss Payne's house. All the kids in the neighborhood. At that time, there's a lot of kids in that neighborhood, and they would go down there and play with Lee in the front yard there.
So what would Lee do? Did he throw a football around, or stories, or?
Oh, they just played little kid games. I don't know exactly what they played, but I just would hear my little nieces laughing and talking about how fun they had playing with him and the other kids in the neighborhood.
Wow, it's interesting. That's a detail that nobody, to my knowledge, I haven't heard this. I never heard that story about the fact that he played with the neighborhood kids. It's very interesting. So, getting back to no, go ahead. What are you going to say, Buell?
What I was going to say was that I think the people that